All right, Nika. Giants All-Pro defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence has requested a trade, and could the Bears possibly land him?
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
This bulletin just handed to me.
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Yes, indeed. This is Breaking Bears on the Kanika Sports Channel. But first, please help us get to 1,000 subscribers before the NFL Draft. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell for our mascot, Frexy. Oh, look at that. Bink, bink.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And yes, indeed, we do have breaking news out of the NFL world. Dexter Lawrence, the All-Pro defensive tackle for the New York Giants, has requested a trade. This comes from Adam Schefter, ESPN sources.
Ooh, anonymous?
Are these from Goodell's office or the New York Giants front office? Who are these? What do you think?
Anonymous.
I'm going with New York Giants front office.
Oh, okay.
Giants All-Pro defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence has requested a trade, and he will not be participating in the team's offseason workout program that opens Tuesday. Big shocker there. Lawrence and the Giants have been through 2 off seasons attempting to negotiate a contract reflecting his value to the Giants over the last 3 years, but there has not been any progress per sources.
Okay.
And there's also been a decline in play as well. That's rough, man.
That's rough. Yes, that's right.
As time goes on, they say. Shefty from ESPN, he followed it up with Dexter Lawrence has 2 years remaining on his deal and is currently scheduled to make $20 million this upcoming season. That's not a bad payday. No. Initially, there had been some optimism that with changes in the organization, discussions could move forward. Those changes, of course, are John Harbaugh becoming the new head coach.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But now that they haven't, new Giants head coach John Harbaugh will open his team's offseason program Tuesday without one of his best players. Ooh.
Drama.
Drama indeed, coming out of ESPN sources. And, this happens almost seemingly every offseason. I mean, I don't have to look very far to last offseason and Micah Parsons to see how that ended. And I don't know exactly when that even started, to be honest, but I know how it ended.
Sure. I think that's more important.
And I feel like this situation is probably going to resolve itself in a similar fashion, but that means we're a long time away from a trade happening.
But that doesn't stop the media to talk about it and speculate.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the NFL offseason, it seems to kind of come in waves. And now that the NFL meetings are over that we had in Arizona last week, people are desperate and chomping on to anything they can get. And, Adam Schefter lands a juicy one right in our laps. And, who doesn't need a nice defensive tackle these days? I don't know. Maybe a team known as
The Bears. The Bears.
And this is where I want to kind of throw caution to the wind, is because I feel like this is just going to be the next shiny object on the marketplace. And even if the asking price looks reasonable right now, it's probably only going to go up if that's the case.
If there's
a sweet house on the market,
and
everyone's going to want to buy that one. And then as soon as it's gone, no one wants to pay more because
nobody wants that same house.
It's not the same deal as the other house that seemed to have everything you wanted. Anyways, Gabriel on Dexter Lawrence. He's not getting traded, nor are the Bears trading for him. This is negotiating 101. Asked to be traded because $22 million a year isn't enough. Happens all over the league every year. A big nothing burger.
Okay, fair point.
So Gabriel just saying this is a negotiating tactic by Dexter Lawrence to get more money. Easton Butler. I feel like he's a Packers fan, but he's an NFL insider. Several teams have called the Giants about star defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence, with some including the Packers, Bears, Jaguars, and Bills. Per source, quote, a Quinnen Williams type trade to start a conversation, end quote. If traded, Lawrence will be moved prior to the draft, but isn't expected to be moved regardless of the public trade request.
So nothing will happen till the draft or after.
That last sentence is really important because it isn't expected to be moved.
Yeah.
No, that means like even from the get-go, this whole thing is a nothing burger.
It's non-starter.
Kind of what Greg Gabriel is saying, not expected to be moved. Easton Butler agrees. However, Greg Gabriel wasn't impressed. He said yesterday, Dave, Bears Fan TV, posted that the Bears have reached out to the New York Giants about Dexter Lawrence. His quote info came from Easton Butler, who is a known Bears troll and not anyone who knows anything.
Oh, so we got trolls involved.
We got trolled, even though they both agree that this trade is most likely not happening in
Well,
a big
it will
nothing
not-
burger.
exactly.
They couldn't agree on the actual details. So
That's
let's get into
fine.
the mud, everybody. I worked for the Giants for 17 years and still have several friends that are very high in the chain of command. First, Dexter Lawrence is not available, and second, the Bears did not inquire. These are typical engagement posts that wannabes put out for views. Happens all the time. Do not pay any attention to them. Hey, Greg, tell me how you really feel.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Greg followed this up with, could Lawrence be available in the future? Anything is possible, but the Giants will do everything possible to get things worked out. If, by chance, he does become available, it will not be before the draft. This is nothing more than a player who wants more money. I mean, he's repeating himself at this point. So, nevertheless, this did not stop people like Kayvon Patra from NFL.com from putting out this gem of an article this morning. Dexter Lawrence landing spots, 8 potential destinations for Giants star defensive tackle.
So there's a bidding war.
He's a
Potential.
superstar. He's a star. He's
Okay.
he's everything the media wants, Nika.
Oh, yeah.
He's anything the media wants him to be.
Exactly. And there's a drama brewing with all these teams knocking on the Giants' door.
Hey, Nika, you know who made the list?
Who?
The Bears. The Bears.
Chicago is a glaring hole in the middle of its defense and has not upgraded the pass rush significantly this offseason. True and true.
Sure.
A trade for Lawrence would solve both in one swoop,
Hey, guess what? The draft is coming too. It could solve that problem.
and it'd be a little cheaper.
Exactly.
The veterans' run defense was down last year, but in Dennis Allen's defense, his penetrating ability would be an ideal fit. After a magical year in which they were ahead of the curve in Ben Johnson's first season, this is the type of move a rising team should make to ensure they don't fall back. Ooh, a little fear-mongering, Nika. We got to make some kind of move, otherwise.
You're not going to make it.
Chicago has draft assets, including 2 second-rounders, to go after Lawrence. Cap space is a concern, but teams can make it work if they choose. Well, that's a little honesty, at least.
Yes.
I am so sick and damn tired of hearing about the Bears' cap space fear-mongering, okay? They have not restructured one contract, including Cole Kmet, which we know is probably coming.
Sure.
So I don't want to hear this crap anymore about any of this. The only thing I really don't want to do is restructure Montez Sweat's contract.
Okay.
That's it.
Fair enough.
Like, and maybe probably Dio Odengbo as well, so that
Okay.
we can maybe have as much money next year as possible without giving this season away.
Sure. That's a good point.
All right, thank you. GM Ryan Poles hasn't been afraid of making big moves in the past. Another would fit the bill for Chicago. Nika, any thoughts about Kevin's thoughts?
Well, Kevin's thoughts are my thoughts as well. There's a lot of competition out there. Let's just not forget that.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
true.
And you cannot just, as a Bears organization, you're not going to go for the shiny object. They just won't.
I don't think it's the smartest thing to do
Exactly.
with this team that we are assembling here. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like everyone wants to look at Patrick Mahomes as this blueprint for success, and yet I feel like it's the outlier. You know, I feel
Could
like
be.
most of the quarterbacks who win are not on rookie contracts, are not playing at the beginning of
That's
their
true.
careers.
That's a good
and
point.
I think the Bears would do themselves a service to at least be methodical and smart
Mm-hmm.
about this. Am I saying I don't want them to win next year or don't think that they can? No, I'm not saying that. I think that anything is possible with a Ben Johnson coached team. Hell yeah! I literally do believe that. But I just want to be realistic and honest and not chase.
Mm-hmm.
Chasing is bad. Chasing will hurt you even more in a salary capped league where you're just stuck with dead money on the books.
Yes, you got to be smart.
You do. And if you have existing bad money on the books that's coming off next year, you don't want to be restructuring it now and prolonging that already painful
Yes.
process.
Yes. You already mortgaged your farm once. You don't want to do it again.
Indeed. All right. Well, there was some updates to this situation
Oh.
this morning. Ian Rappaport on Dexter Lawrence's trade request. Giants coach John Harbaugh says, quote, "I'm not surprised by it. We'll try to work through it." Asked about the possibility of a Lawrence return to the New York Giants, Harbaugh said, "I think the prospects are high." Says he believes that's what both sides want.
Okay, so he's telling us that this trade is never going to happen at this moment.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing to put this all into perspective is that as much as the media might want to be like, "Oh, a player demanded a trade. Let's see where we can put him. Let's play pick a team, everybody."
That's a fantasy football.
Well, if this is going to happen, we got to get to training camp first, and that's in
course.
July. That's like
Yes.
1, 2, 3. That's 3 months almost away from
And before
being
that,
a reality.
we have a draft to get through.
Well, yeah, and rosters are going to look different, and
Exactly.
team needs are going to look different, and the Bears, who are obviously a strong fit for any defensive tackle, defensive edge rushing help. Yes, I agree. We don't know if that will still be the case after the draft.
Exactly.
So
Patience.
we got to go through this process.
If you ain't first, you're last. You know?
The only thing that sticks out is if the Giants do want that first round or second round draft pick this year, then they might feel pressure to move him now. But I want
that's
to
not the
warn
Bears.
whichever team trades for this guy, he's going to want to restructure his contract just like everybody else does on his way in the door and
wants
want
more
some
money.
guaranteed money.
Of course.
$20 million
Maybe-
sounds great this year, but
You don't know what's going to happen
you can
next
just
year.
get cut out or you can have
Injured.
a career-ending injury and you never get another bloody cent of it. That's why he's not at the off-season training workout, by the way, because if he slips and falls, oopsie daisy, career's over.
Yeah.
No more money.
Exactly.
Guaranteed. Oopsie.
So
Just things to keep in mind, I think personally that should not chase these objects, Max Crosby's, Trey Hendrickson's. They sound on the surface like the fix for everything, for all your problems, right?
how did that fix work for the Green Bay Packers?
It did not. We
Exactly.
saw a Super Bowl pretty much ready-made team fall
make
short
it.
of their dreams once their star edge rusher went down with a season-ending ACL injury. It's unfortunate
sucks.
for the Packers and for the NFL, really, when these things happen, because no one wants to see the best players in the game sitting on the sidelines in January and February. But it happens, and the Packers were victims, and they gave up a lot for it.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm kind of like
Cautious.
I'm very, very cautious, and I feel like the Bears have to do smart decision making right now during this sensitive window, because we are going to have to pay Caleb Williams very soon, and we want to have more superstars on this team, right? And we want to build a band that we can kind of keep together for a while. We have to be very, very smart about how we go about doing that. Nevertheless, if the Bears were to make a trade for Dexter Lawrence, I'm somebody that would be a fan of that move. But I also think that we get caught up too much on the defensive side of the football right now, because everyone looks at the Bears and where they were last year, including myself, and was like, oh, it was so painful to watch us try to sack the quarterback, which was basically non-existent most games.
But we have an offensive coach where they're going to try to do more offensive runs versus the defensive runs.
Yeah, I just think this idea that we're going to be balanced on offense and defense is a delusion a little bit by people. And the way that Ben Johnson might be looking at things is a little bit different than how the fan base is looking at things. And what I mean by that is that I feel like he doesn't think our offense has reached its peak yet by a long shot. And when you hear Caleb Williams talking to Max Crosby about wanting to, put up 38 points or more per game this upcoming year, the aspirations in the building at least are high.
Sure.
And that,
It
when you
fits.
look at 25 points a game roughly last year to go to like 35 to 38 or more, that's a big jump in improvement. And, guess what? When you put up that many points a game, you're going to have other teams chasing you.
Yeah.
Your defense is going to be ultimately in a better position already. And you know what? You might not need to stop them as much. As
You might
painful
not.
as that sounds to say as a Bears fan. Because
Sure, you might allow the other team to score X amount of points as long as you are ahead of X amount of points.
yes.
So-
And you might look at the realities of
Yes.
the world and the talent that you're playing against and be like, well,
this is the hand we've been dealt, and this is what we got.
we're not going to stop them
Chase.
every time. So the
Well,
only thing
that's
we
true.
can do is score more than they did.
That's always a plus.
We as Bears fans, I don't think are accustomed to shootouts
No.
and being a team that's capable of winning a shootout. You know, it's always like, oh boy, we better not get into a shootout with these guys because we're not that kind of team.
Well, now we might be.
Yeah, we
And
might
it's a
be,
good change
and
for
that's
the
great,
Bears.
and it's
Absolutely.
fun. And I've been wanting a modernized Bears offense for decades at this
Yes.
point, folks. Decades, and I don't say that lightly. I just want to make one more final point about the Dexter Lawrence situation as it relates to the Chicago Bears, but there's also a defensive edge rusher on the Giants who was rumored to be a trade candidate before the offseason really got going here, and that was Kayvon Thibodeaux. In fact, when free agency opened, Kayvon Thibodeaux was a potential trade target then for teams looking for edge rushing help, including
The Bears. The Bears.
I'm just wondering now that potentially Dexter Lawrence wants out, does that change how the Giants are looking at the situation with Kayvon Thibodeaux? Because they might want to keep one but not trade both, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And the guy that's got $20 million on the books versus the guy that doesn't but does want a new deal. Pick
Who you
your
choose.
poison, right?
Yeah.
So we'll learn a lot about what the Giants think, I think, of these two defensive linemen. Even though they play technically different positions, they're both coveted by a lot of teams. And, you know, in a locker room or in a situation where you have to choose 2 out of 3 and one of the guys is already there. So it's between these two. I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see which way the
they
apple
go.
falls, I guess. Nika, do you have anything to add?
We covered Kayvon already, so if you want to check
Yeah.
that video.
We did a Kayvon trade target video. So if you want to learn all about him and those trade prospects, feel free. In the meantime, that's all I got for this one. So let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you want the Bears to go after Dexter Lawrence with everything they have, or do you want them to play it smart and not get into a bidding war with the 8 other teams apparently that might want to be interested in trading for him? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll catch you soon on the next one.